How y'all doing? Sorry, it's been a while since I uploaded a video. Well, I actually tried to upload a video the other day, but it was black flagged as soon as I uploaded it. You know how copyright is. Even if the company doesn't really give a shit about the content, they don't want anybody else to upload it. God forbid somebody should make a little money on it. Or possibly make a little money on it. Well, whatever. Anyways, I'm going to do a movie review for I Saw the Light. It's about Hank Williams, of course. Being a Hank Williams fan, I haven't done any movie reviews about the movies about him yet, so figure I'll start. This is the back of the cover. This is the front of the cover. Get a good shot of that there. Stars Tom Hiddleston and Elizabeth Olsen. Okay. Now, the first thing I want to address is the promotion of the film. Okay. You want a movie to do well, you advertise, right? Okay. This movie was only advertised on CMT when it was advertised on TV. It had at least 2 different TV spots, and it was only advertised on CMT. So that right there adds up to poor promotion. And it had 1 theatrical trailer. And to top that off, the movie was only in maybe 700 theaters across the whole United States. Uh, if you want a movie to do well, one, you promote it the right way. Like, for example, Johnny Cash movie, I Walk the Line, or Walk the Line, I should say. Well, obviously the song's in the movie, but whatever. That was heavily promoted, okay? That was promoted the right way, and that was in like 3,000 theaters. 3 or 4,000 theaters across the country, okay? So there's no excuse. Uh, this movie, that's the reason why it didn't make as much money as they thought, because it wasn't promoted. And they didn't distribute it to that many theaters. I mean, around here it was only in the downtown theater. It was in no other theater around here, if that tells you anything. So that right there doomed it from the start. I mean, it should have been more promoted. Um, I mean, you could argue that, you know, it was promoted. I mean, more people have, seen it and warmed up to it in the past few years. I mean, the movie came out in 2016. I'll admit, when I first heard it was getting made and I heard the British guy Tom Hiddleston was playing him, I was a little skeptical about that. But he did a good job with, what he was given. I mean, he, of course, wanted more time to learn the songs because he did the actual singing in the movie. He wasn't really given that, of course, because, when you're filming a movie, you can't, keep stretching it and stretching it, even though you want to. But he did a good job with what he was giving, despite, what some people may say about it. Probably the best example of that is, or a couple of the best examples of that is when he gets on the opera and he's doing Lovesick Blues. Also, where he's doing a Luke the Drifter song. Uh, one of Hank's recitations there. Um, at that point, he actually sounds like Hank for a little bit there, which is, pretty cool. Um, I mean exactly like Hank. I don't mean just like Hank. It's when you hear him talk, it's like you're hearing the real Hank Williams. And believe me, I have like probably 80 or 90 CDs of Hank, and however many records and everything else. So I know what Hank sounds like. But he did a good job. Elizabeth Olsen did a good job of playing Miss Audrey. Elizabeth Olsen, you might remember, she plays the Scarlet Witch in the Marvel movies, and of course Tom Hiddleston also plays in the Marvel movies as Loki. Um, I gotta say, Elizabeth Olsen, what I've seen her in, some people may not like this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. she's more talented than her sisters, the Olsen twins, Mary Kate and Ashley. Okay, I mean, outside of Full House, which they did when they were little, what have they done? Okay, a bunch of direct-to-video B movies and a couple other TV series. Other than that, they're mainly involved in the fashion industry. And apparently, Mary Kate got married a few years ago, and they passed out packs of cigarettes during the ceremony or after the reception or whatever. So it's like, okay, that could be considered a party favor, I guess. Whatever. But yeah, I believe that Elizabeth Olsen is more talented. As you can see her right there, okay. More talented and definitely more beautiful than her sisters. Um, but I enjoyed the movie. You're probably wondering, is it accurate? Well, it's still a movie. I mean, it's about as accurate as it can be. I mean, one thing I will say that they focused on a little too much on the negative side of Hank's life. Of course, it's not 100% accurate, anyways. Um, but for what it is, I mean, the movie's over 2 hours long. It's pretty good for what it is. I mean, it should have done better at the box office, but again, the lack of promotion and not having it in that many theaters, that's what kind of, doomed it. Then, as far as the soundtrack goes, there is a soundtrack, but don't go looking for the CD because there isn't one, except for maybe a select few promotional copies that may have gotten out. Yeah, I know. Honestly, I'd have the soundtrack too, but honestly, the soundtrack, in some ways, it doesn't make any sense because, like, for example, My Bucket's Got a Hole in It is on there, okay? That song was not in the movie, not even in the deleted scenes, okay? Another thing that the movie left out was, how Hank came up with certain songs, like I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry, and things like that. You hear them over, like, you hear that one and you hear Jambalaya after the movie ends and playing over the credits. It's like, okay, but you don't hear them in the movie. Whereas in the original movie about Hank, though very inaccurate, I'll do a review on that later down the road, uh, those songs were still in the movie. But, it is what it is. You can't have everything, I guess. Um, this is the Blu-ray copy of the movie, by the way. There is some Blu-ray exclusive features where you don't get on the DVD, which are deleted scenes and music. A Night in Nashville premiere and musical performance by Tom Hiddleston. Those two bonus features are not on the DVD, so you have to get Blu-ray to get those. Now, addressing the deleted scenes, okay, a lot of those should have been left in the movie. Like one where then this actually happened where Hank and second wife Billie Jean go visit Hank's father when Hank's father's not there, but they leave him a note and a box of chocolates for Christmas. This was just before Hank died. Okay, that right there should have been left in the movie. You see, things like that should have been left in the movie. That could have enhanced it even more. One thing that should have been taken out, and I don't know why this is in there in the first place, because it's not reality, was where Hank sitting in the car with his steel guitar player Don Helms, and Hank appears to be snorting something out of a tube. Okay. That didn't happen. Hank was not a drug addict. Okay. Nor did he sniff anything like that. Okay. I can tell you that right now, and so can anybody that knew him. And yes, I do know somebody that knew him. And yes, the guy is an older gentleman, of course. But yeah, Hank was not like that. He did drink, not to the extent that people think he did. He was a binge drinker, and because of his low body mass, he couldn't really hold his liquor too well. But it is what it is, you know. He wasn't the drunk that everybody well, not everybody, but he wasn't the drunk that some historians say he is, or some writers, I should say, rather say he is or was. Rather, yeah, he wasn't like that. And he did take prescriptions for his back pain because he had spinal bifida, which, if you don't know what that is, uh, there's no cure for it. Okay, even today, there's no cure for it. So he did whatever he had to do to get the pain to go down. I mean, there were times when he'd be in the back seat of his car crying because the pain was so bad. So unless you're in that situation, you don't know. You can say, "Oh, he took too many pills." And it's like, no, you don't know, because you're not in that kind of pain. His reasoning was, if it said take a pill once every 4 hours, he would take 4 every hour, and he thought that'd be that much better. Okay, yeah, that's not the way you're supposed to take them, no. But when you're in that pain, the only thing you can think of is the pain to go away. Okay? But trust me, I know. Trust me, I know. I've been in those situations. I had an infection in my mouth before, on the side with a wisdom tooth, and it was 3 months before I could get it taken care of. So I know what that pain feels like. Trust me. Do everything you can do to just get the pain to stop. But there is no cure for spinal bifida, so I mean, they could probably do things now that could ease it, but there ain't no cure for it. But anyways, getting back to the movie. The movie's about, yeah, so it's just over 2 hours long. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's a good movie. I mean, like I said, I enjoyed it. I wish it had done better, as I said. When it's not promoted well, I mean, I kind of figured when I saw the lack of promotion that it was going to go that road, because they were talking about it being like big, like I walk the line, or walk the line, I should say. I'm saying I walk the line. Well, anyway, it's the same thing. You know what I mean. Yeah, the biopics are usually named after the songs of singers, usually, uh, for the most part. The first one about Hank was You're Cheating Hard, as I've said. Of course, the one about Johnny Cash is called Walk the Line. Then the one about June Carter, which is essentially her version of the story. Honestly, that's a great, highly underrated film. That's called Ring of Fire, if you've never seen it. If you have Walk the Line, I recommend that you get Ring of Fire to go with that. Of course. Another thing I can say about I Saw the Light was the one thing that they did really good on was the atmosphere. I mean, had you feeling like it was that time, which is good. Because some of these movies, when I see them, it's like they're trying to recreate a time period, but they're not very good at it. An example is in 2012 when the movie Hatfields and McCoys came out. Okay, with Bill Paxton and Kevin Costner and Mar Winningham, Powers Booth, Tom Berenger, Jenna Malone, you know, all of them. There was another movie, if you want to call it that. It was thrown together by Lionsgate. Okay, seriously, Lionsgate, you need to stop making historical movies. You're not good at it. Okay, you suck when it comes to historical movies. Stop trying to make historical movies. Okay, the basically they tried to do their version of it, which they tried to cram into an hour and a half. Uh, Despite having great actors like Jeff Fahey, or however you pronounce his name, and Christian Slater in it, it it was called Hatfields and McCoy's Bad Blood, and it really, if you just look at it, it's just like a bad Wild West show. That's what it looks like. The costume designing, it's like storylines, like you know, whatever. It's like it's just so weak. I mean, I think it was on YouTube at one point. It's like it's just so bad. It's like, and yeah, at least I'm glad that nobody tried to throw together a cheap movie about Hank at the same time. Because if Lionsgate had done something like that when I saw The Light came out, I mean, you could just imagine what they would have done with it. Uh, they do make some good movies, but you know, historical movies aren't their strong point. They tried it again like a year or so later when the Bonnie and Clyde movie came out, the miniseries there, and they tried to do one called Bonnie and Clyde Justified. And, well, all you have to do is just look at the cover and you can see what that is. But it's like, okay, it's like I tried watching a little bit of the Hatfields and McCoy's Bad Blood, and I saw how bad that was. It's like I'm staying the hell away from the Bonnie and Clyde one. But I saw The Light did the period perfectly. I mean, I wish I had more pictures floating around here to go with it, but you can see how Tom Hiddleston looks as Hank. Yeah, he did a really good job with what he was given. If he, like I said, if he had more time to do the songs he wanted to, but it's like you're portraying a legend, okay? See, that's the thing that some people don't understand. It's like when you're watching somebody play, like your favorite singer or whatever, they're just portraying him. They're not him, okay? That's what these people don't understand. Just like having somebody play an icon like James Dean, okay? There's a movie that came out in '95. The original title was James Dean Race with Destiny. Or was it 95? No, I forget. 95 or 97, something like that. Yeah, it was 97, yeah. And then it was retitled James Dean Live Fast, Die Young. I think it aired on TV at 95, though. I forget. But Casper Van Dien did a pretty good job playing James Dean, and shows the sides of Dean that did exist that a lot of people weren't aware of, but a lot of people just downgrade the movie because that movie wasn't heavily promoted. It just, I don't know what people were expecting. Honestly, I think they were expecting too much. Now, another movie that came out about James Dean. I'm sorry, a little off topic here, but a few years later was with James Franco. Okay, James Franco's a good actor. I'll give him that. But as James Dean, the movie just didn't work. And it's like, yeah, I get that he got a Golden Globe for it. But the movie was basically shoved down people's throats. I mean, that movie was so heavily promoted. when it came out on TNT that you couldn't avoid it. See what I mean? So people couldn't help but watch it. That just means the promotion was done the right way. Now, if the promotion for I Saw the Light had been done in that manner, we would have had a more positive response to it. But I enjoyed it. I mean, I know people I showed it to enjoyed it. I know one of my friends does. Can't remember every one I showed it to. Trying to think. I forget. Watched it quite a few times. I usually watch all my Hank Williams ones. Well, obviously, I watch them regularly anyways, but I always make a point to watch him and listen to his music around his birthday, which is September 17th, and when he died, which is New Year's Day. So, of course, I got so much stuff, I obviously can't, do it all in one day, so I stretch it out. I recommend that you check out I Saw the Light, if you haven't seen it already. Um, if you want the physical copy, the DVD and Blu-ray is not too hard to get. I've actually seen it at Dollar General, if you have a Dollar General near you. Those Dollar Generals are everywhere, so you should have one near you. But maybe someday they'll release the full soundtrack of the movie. Um, when I say full soundtrack, I mean every song that's in the movie. Plus, obviously they were recorded, so My Bucket's Got a Hole in It would have to be on there. So, everything that was in the movie. See, that's the problem I have with soundtracks is that you never get a complete soundtrack, hardly. But anyway, that's a story for another day. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm gonna have more content coming for you soon. So, anyways, as Hank Williams would say, if the good lows are reeling and the creeks don't rise, I'll see you again before long.